What's going on, guys? It's your homeboy Jojo Kaiser here. I'm back with another storytime video for you guys today. Hope you all are having yourselves a fantastic day. I know I am. So for today's storytime, I'm going to be telling you guys a story about how an emo kid back in middle school tried to put a curse on me because I said that he was being too dramatic. Yep, that's right, guys. We have an emo story for you guys today. Hope you all enjoy this video. I know I'm going to. And without further ado, let's get on with today's story time. So today's story time, like I said, took place back in middle school. You know, my daily routine as of this point. I get up, take a shower, brush my teeth, put on clothes, get ready for school. You know, just the basic gist of what I was doing during a day-to-day basis as a middle schooler. So anyways, I get to middle school, I sit down in the lunchroom, I start talking with a couple of my friends, and so far things are completely okay. And then in comes a certain person who is going to be named the emo kid because I don't know what other name I can give this person, but he's just going to be labeled as the emo kid. And without further ado, let's keep going. So anyways, I see quote-unquote emo kid walk into the lunchroom looking completely pissed off. Now, personally, if I see someone pissed off in some way, shape, or form, it's not really my business, because, clearly there's something going on in terms of his own personal life that really has nothing to do with me. So I figured, you know what, let me just leave him alone for now. So anyways, a couple periods go by, and in comes English class. So in this particular day, in this particular class, my teacher wanted us to write a poem based on the topic that we were supposed to be reading for in this particular class. I can't really remember the topic of the book that we were reading, but I do know that we weren't supposed to be reading anything that was too emotional or whatever the case may be. That particular piece of detail is very important, and you're about to hear why right now. So anyways, my teacher tells us to, write a poem based around the topic that we were reading about. And on top of that, she actually says that, we don't want us to write anything that's too personal. Don't write anything that's too personal for the entire class because you are going to be reading these poems out loud. You shouldn't have anything to worry about. Just don't write anything personal. Everything's fine. We're not going to make fun of each other. Everything's cool. Because the main reason as to why she was saying all of this is because the quote-unquote emo kid that I talked about also had the same class as me. And my teacher already knew the type of people that, emo kids are, right? They're always too emotional. They constantly say about how life is meaningless and that they are incapable of doing anything, and that everything that everybody does with their lives is considered meaningless because no one cares. Life is sad, life is pain. If you enjoy things in life, then you're considered one of the most egotistical piles of garbage on the entire planet. Basic emo kid talk. So anyways, as my teacher is telling all this to pretty much everybody in the class, the emo kid stands up and it says, "Oh my god, you're trying to do this to discriminate against me. You know that I'm emo. Why would you tell people not to write anything personal when everything in life is supposed to be personal? So why would you tell people not to write anything about it? You're so rude and disrespectful. You know how a bunch of emo kids are constantly going through pain and suffering. What's wrong with you?" And he's just going on and on towards this teacher. Right? And keep in mind, it's not like my teacher made this assignment up so that way she can make fun of, emo kids. That's not how this works, right? My teacher isn't purposefully making an assignment so that way she can make fun of emo kids, because apparently some emo kids, not all, but some, are just incapable of just expressing their feelings, and they think life is meaningless and blah, 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 right? And keep in mind, I'm just sitting there trying to listen to what the teacher is saying, but for some reason this emo kid is constantly saying how apparently he's being treated poorly and disrespected because the teacher made an assignment about something that he knows that he wants to be passionate about, but he can't because the teacher is so rude. So then I stand up, right? And look, I'm not the type of person that wants to start problems, okay? That's not who I am. If you know who I am, then you know that I'm not the type of person that wants to start problems with anybody, right? But the second you start yelling at a teacher, which by the way, my teacher, in this particular situation, she was very, very nice. She was a very nice teacher. She was the type of teacher that would constantly make sure that, everybody's doing their work properly. And, she was extremely nice. There was nothing wrong with her, right? So the fact that I have a teacher who's one of the nicest teachers in my middle school during this time, pretty much getting disrespected by this emo kid because he thinks that he's being disrespected when that makes absolutely no sense whatsoever, gets me a little bit heated. So look, I want to make it very clear, don't do what I did, right? Maybe it wasn't the right choice for me to do at that particular moment, but no, I just felt pissed off because dude, she's not disrespecting you. My teacher was not disrespecting you in any way, shape, or form. So anyways, I stand up and I look at this chubby white emo kid and I'm like, look, Like, the teacher is clearly telling us to do something because she knows the type of people you guys are. She's not purposefully doing this so that way she can, disrespect you. That's not what this assignment is about. I don't understand what your issue is. And I guess me saying that must have ticked off this, quote unquote emo kid. Because here's the thing, right? Remember earlier in the video when I said that apparently this emo kid was pissed off about something? Yeah, apparently he wanted to provide all that anger out towards me now, because how dare I speak to him in a quote-unquote manner when in reality I was trying to defend my teacher for you being so triggered for no reason whatsoever. So anyways, I say all this to him, and the emo kid looks me dead in the eyes and says, "Oh, so now you want to take this outside?" I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? I'm basically trying to say that you shouldn't be so dramatic because my teacher is quote-unquote disrespecting you when that's not the case. Like, she's seriously just trying to teach us a lesson and, make us do an assignment where we don't have to provide anything personal based on the topic at hand. Like, she just wants us to write a poem about something in terms of the topic. Like, it's not really that a big deal. Like, stop being so dramatic. And once again, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but still, like, no, I was getting heated. Because, like, here's my teacher, who, again, is one of the nicest teachers on the planet, is somehow getting disrespected by this white, chubby, and short, might I add, emo kid, acting completely rude towards the teacher for no reason whatsoever. Which is like, why? That makes no sense. That makes absolutely no sense. So anyways, I tell this white, fat, small emo kid, being like, look, the teacher's not doing anything wrong, stop being dramatic, just do the assignment, and then go home. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So then he says, that's it, and he gets up from his desk, right? He walks over to me, and he says again, bro, you want to take this outside? Because I could beat you up right now. You have no right being rude towards me. And I tell him, dude, you have no right being rude towards me and the teacher. You're trying to act like you're so much of a victim for no reason whatsoever. Like, bro, just leave it alone. We're just doing an assignment. It's not that deep. Just stop being dramatic, right? So we're going back and forth, and then the teacher is like, okay, look, like, you guys need to break up. And so the emo kid was like, you know what? Frick both of you. Like, he didn't say frick, but I'm not going to say the other word because I know YouTube is most likely going to take down this video because of their broken system. But anyways, right? He basically says frick both of us, and he walks out the classroom. So now I'm like, okay, yeah, I was automatically right when I told this kid that he was being too dramatic for no reason whatsoever, right? So anyways, the teacher turns to me and, she says, look, I appreciate you trying to help me, but these types of people, like, they're very emotional when it comes to certain situations, so maybe you shouldn't bother them or trigger them or anything like that. And I say, look, I wasn't trying to do that. I was just saying that it made no sense for him to act like a victim over us doing an assignment that wasn't even targeting him. And then the teacher was like, look, I get it, just please don't do that again. And so I said, you know what, sure, I have no issues with that, that's completely fine. And so we all sit back down and we, continue on with that particular lesson. So then the next period goes by, right? I'm walking to my next class for my next period, but before that, I go to my locker to, grab a few things. And as I'm getting stuff from my locker, the same emo kid walks up to me and he does this like weird, like voodoo doll body movement thing, like in front of me. And I'm sitting there like, what in the world is this guy doing? And then he stops and he starts talking in like this weird language. Like, to me, I don't even know what it was to this day. It's so weird. Like, he was saying, like, he was saying stuff like that. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Right? He does this for like 10 seconds, right? And then he stops and then he looks at me dead in the eyes and says, you're now cursed. And he walks away. And so I'm like, wait, what? And so I try to ask him, dude, what was that? And then he turns back at me and says, well, I just put a curse on you for disrespecting me earlier. And I'm like, dude, what are you talking about? What disrespect? I was just telling you to stop being dramatic because we were just trying to write a poem that wasn't even targeting you in any way, shape, or form. Like, bro, you're the one that's being rude. And so anyways, he's smiling right now and he walks away from me. And I'm like, oh my god, this guy really did put a curse on me? I mean, obviously I didn't believe in curses during that particular time, but it was still weird that he would try to do something like that. It's like, why? That just makes no sense, right? So anyways, fast forward to lunch period, I'm sitting down, eating, talking to my friends, and I tell them about the whole situation that happened earlier, right, with me and, this really dumb emo kid. right? And one of my friends says, "Wait, hold on. He tried to put a curse on you?" And then I say, "Yeah." Like when I was trying to get my stuff from my locker, he was like talking this weird language and doing some weird body movement. Then afterwards, he said that he put a curse on me or something for quote unquote being disrespectful to him when that wasn't the case. And then one of my friends was like, "Well, good luck with that." I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." So anyways, fast forward towards the end of the period, I get home, things are okay. And then the next day comes, and this is where the story gets a little bit more, interesting in my personal opinion. So anyways, I get to school the next day, right? And as soon as I walk into the main building of the school, right, two security guards rush over to me, grab me by my shoulders, and they take me to the principal's office, right? And as I'm going to the principal's office, I'm like, okay, what's this about? And then one of the security guards was like, look, we were just told that, we have to bring you to the main office. It's not a big deal. Just come with us. And I'm like, okay. So anyways, I go to the main office, the principal's sitting there. And guess who else is sitting there with the principal? That's right, the emo kid. This white, chubby, short little gremlin, this particular emo kid is sitting in the same office as the principal, right? So I get told to sit down right in front of the principal. So I do that, right? And the principal looks at both of us and he said, look, I understand that you guys don't really like each other, but there's no excuse for fighting in the lunchroom, yesterday. I'm so disappointed at both of you. So then I make a completely shocked look on my face. And I'm like, whoa, what are you talking about? What fight? And the principal says, a bunch of students and, this guy, and he points to, the emo kid, told me that you guys were fighting with each other because you had a little disagreement in, one particular class. I don't appreciate fighting. We're going to have to suspend both of you. And I'm like, whoa, hold on a second. There was no fight. What are you talking about? And then the principal's like, well, the emo kid told me that you guys were fighting in the lunchroom and, we don't tolerate that. So then I say, okay, that never happened. We don't even have the same lunch period. What are you talking about? All right. And as I'm saying all of this, the emo kid is just sitting there smiling. And so I see this and I tell the principal, look, he is smiling. He's smiling at me because he thinks that I did something wrong to him. Like, don't you think that's a little bit weird? So then I proceed to tell the principal that, look, right, yesterday when I was transitioning between periods, I was getting something from my locker and, in comes the emo kid doing some kind of ritual language weirdness towards me. And he said that he was going to put a curse on me. Right? And as I'm saying this, the emo kid is once again smiling. And I'm like, look again, he's smiling. Don't you think that's weird, principal of mine? So then the principal looks at the emo kid and asks me if this was true, right? And you would think that the emo kid would just, not snitch on himself and, make something up and say that apparently I did fight him. But no, he actually says the truth, which is weird, and says that, yeah, I did put, a curse on him because he deserved it. And I'm like, why? Why did I deserve it? And he said, because I disrespected him, in front of the teacher yesterday. And I was like, dude, all I said was for you to not be so dramatic because we were writing a poem that wasn't even targeting you. Like, what do you mean I was being rude towards you? So anyways, me and this emo kid are going back and forth. And then the principal's like, okay, look, so-and-so, which is, the emo kid, you can't just put curses on people. That's not what we do at school. You know that, right? And the emo kid was like, you know what? This is a waste of time. I don't care. I'm just going to put another curse on him again. And so the principal was like, no, we're not going to have that. And he says that, he was going to be transferred out of my class and, put into a different class, effective immediately. And then the emo kid gets up, smiles at me again, but this time he has like a really pissed off look as he's smiling at me. And he says, I'll be back. And then he literally runs out of the office. Like, he straight up Naruto runs out of the office. Like, that is so cringe. Why? That makes no sense. So anyways, I'm sitting there, and the principal's like, okay, the situation is sorted out. You can go back to class. I'm like, okay. So anyways, I go to first period, and after that, so-and-so, the entire school day, I don't really see, the emo kid. Right? And then come the next day, I walk into school, right? And I find out that same emo kid, put another curse, quote unquote curse on another student for quote unquote being disrespectful. So as a result of that, he actually got, suspended for like 2 weeks. And I'm like, oh my God, Like, I can't believe the same emo kid is doing this to another student and he got in trouble for it. It's like, why? That makes no sense. That's so dumb. Why would you do that? But yeah, guys, that's pretty much the end of the story about how an emo kid tried to put a curse on me because he thought that I was being disrespectful to him, and that really wasn't the case. And yeah, that just happened. Moral of the story is just don't be rude towards nice teachers, because like my teacher was very, very nice. Like she didn't need it to be disrespected like that against like a little gremlin known as the emo kid. And also don't try to put curses on people for no reason whatsoever. It's like, bruh, don't do it. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, I highly recommend liking the video, and on top of that, subscribe to the channel for more of my dumb content in the future. Now, I am taking storytime requests, so if you guys have any crazy stories or ideas for content that you want me to make a video about, I highly recommend sending them to my business email down in the description below. I highly recommend it. I'll try and see if I can make a video of it, and on top of that, I'll definitely make sure that you guys get as much credit as possible for those, story ideas. And until next time, guys, this is JoJo Kaiser, signing out. Make sure you stay sexy and wear a condom. Peace!